Thank you guys for watching this video. Like and subscribe to see more videos. Let's get into the video.
6. The atmosphere in Konoha Village buzzed with excitement. The graduation exam was underway. Inside the examination area, students whispered and gathered as a familiar figure strolled in. "Wait, isn't that Satoru-kun?" A pink-haired girl asked, her voice tinged with curiosity. "Yeah, it is." Her friend chimed in, equally puzzled. "But what's he doing in the graduation examination room?" More students joined the conversation, craning their necks to get a better look. Before long, the exam hall was surrounded by a growing crowd, all drawn by the presence of the boy who had become the talk of the academy. Satoru Uchiha was no ordinary student. His exceptional performance over the past month had made him a near legend among his peers. Even those who hadn't interacted with him knew of his feats. "Do you think he's actually taking the graduation exam?" One student speculated. "That's impossible." Another replied. "He's only been in the academy for a little over a month. No way he's ready for this." "I mean, the youngest ninja to graduate was 7 years old, right?" Someone added. "And Satoru-kun is only 5. "Yeah, Uchiha Itachi graduated at 7. And isn't he Satoru-kun's older brother?" "He is." Itachi completed all his courses in just 1 year and graduated as the top prodigy. But if Satoru graduates now, at 5 years old, wouldn't that make him even more impressive? "Don't be ridiculous. There's no way he's ready for that. Maybe he's just here to help the examiners with something." The students' chatter was interrupted when an unfamiliar examiner stepped forward into the room. "Wait, who's that? I don't recognize him." A student murmured. "Yeah, graduation examiners are usually academy teachers. Why haven't we seen this guy before?" In the crowd, Karina Yuhi, standing next to Orochimaru, raised an eyebrow. "Hey, isn't that Asuma? What's he doing as the examiner?" She had accompanied her teacher, Orochimaru, who, much to her confusion, had taken a sudden interest in this year's graduation exam. Orochimaru, however, paid her no attention, his golden eyes locked on Satoru as though the rest of the room didn't exist. Inside the exam hall, Asuma Sarutobi stepped forward, his demeanor exuding impatience. He addressed the students with a smirk, his voice loud and commanding. "All right, listen up. The rules for the exam are simple. If you can touch even the corner of my clothes before this stick of incense burns out, you pass." He gestured to the incense stick burning nearby. "That's your time limit. Let's see what you've got." Asuma's irritation was palpable. Today was supposed to be the day he left Konoha to join the Fire Daimyo's guardian Shinobi 12. Instead, his father, the third Hokage, had roped him into this. Asterisk. "Enjoy the memories of the academy one last time." Asterisk, his father had said. Memories? Asuma had already graduated years ago. What was there to enjoy? "This is just his excuse to stall me," Asuma thought bitterly, deepening the scowl on his face.
Fine.
If he had to waste his day on this, he wouldn't make it easy for these kids. No handouts today, he decided. If they wanted to graduate, they'd have to prove they were ready for the battlefield. "All right, brats, let's get started," Asuma called out, arrogance dripping from his tone. The students bristled at his words, their indignation rising. "Who's he calling brats?" One muttered angrily. "We'll show him." Another snapped, preparing their technique. One by one, the students began attacking, each displaying their best ninjutsu. Asterisk, asterisk, wind style. Whirlwind fist. Asterisk, asterisk. Asterisk, asterisk, ninja art. Shadow imitation jutsu. Asterisk, asterisk. Asterisk, asterisk, take this. Asterisk, asterisk. Asterisk, asterisk, try to dodge my hidden weapons. Asterisk, asterisk. The room erupted into chaos as students called out their moves, charging at Asuma with everything they had. From a spot on the sidelines, Satoru watched with mild amusement, his chin resting in his hand. Why are they yelling their techniques out loud? He wondered. Asterisk, is this some unwritten rule? Or are they just making it easier for the opponent? Asterisk. Asuma, effortlessly dodging attacks left and right, noticed Satoru's stillness. "Hey, kid," he called out. "What's the matter? Planning to let them do all the work and swoop in at the last second?" Satoru raised an eyebrow, unsure if Asuma was really calling him out. "Yes, you, the giggling little brat standing there doing nothing." Asuma clarified, smirking. "Why don't you come over and show me what you've got?" Satoru's lips curled into a confident smile. He slowly rose to his feet, his movements calm and deliberate. "Are you sure about this?" he asked, his voice steady. Asuma chuckled, twirling the toothpick in his mouth. Don't worry, kid. I'll go easy on you. Let's see your ninjutsu. The students hushed, their attention now fully on Satoru. Many of them were curious, some skeptical. Could he really do it? Satoru walked forward, his gaze steady as he sized up Asuma. The air in the room shifted as he stepped into the center of the examination area. All right then, Satoru said, a sly grin forming. Let's begin. 27. Huh? Me? Satoru pointed at himself, feigning innocence as he looked at Asuma's annoyed glare. Yes, you. Asuma snapped impatiently. What are you waiting for? Get on with it and cast your jutsu. Satoru puffed out his cheeks in mock dissatisfaction. Giggling little brat, he thought. I'm obviously charming and refined. What kind of insult is that? His playful expression faded as he stepped closer to Asuma, his demeanor sharpening. The shift in his aura was subtle but palpable, like a blade unsheathing. Asuma's eyes narrowed slightly. Though he had been dismissive of the boy's age, this sudden change caught his attention. So, he's not completely ordinary, Asuma thought, adjusting his stance. All right, Satoru said, stroking his eye patch as if preparing for something monumental. I'll show you my ultimate secret technique. Asuma raised an eyebrow, his curiosity piqued. Even Orochimaru, observing from the sidelines, leaned forward slightly, intrigued by the boy's claim. Could there be something he hasn't revealed yet? Satoru's hands moved in a flurry of seals before he shouted dramatically. Asterisk, asterisk, ninjutsu. The art of blocking the road. Asterisk, asterisk. Silence fell across the room. Everyone blinked, looking around for any signs of an effect. What is this supposed to be? Asuma frowned, clearly unimpressed. It's a roadblock. Satoru replied nonchalantly, gesturing to himself. Haven't I stopped you from moving forward? The absurdity of his explanation left the room dumbfounded for a moment before the students burst into laughter. What kind of jutsu is that? One boy choked out between giggles. Is he even serious? Another girl added, wiping tears from her eyes. Orochimaru, however, remained unmoved, his expression calm despite the chaos. Teacher, who is this kid? Kurenai asked, her face filled with disbelief. Orochimaru smirked slightly. A student I find promising. Meanwhile, Asuma's face darkened with embarrassment and irritation. This brat is mocking me, he thought. In the exam room, of all places. Without a word, Asuma charged forward, his frustration boiling over. Enough joking around. Wake up, brat. Satoru tilted his head, feigning confusion. Why are you so angry? He asked innocently, though his eyes glinted mischievously. As Asuma closed the distance, Satoru moved with deliberate slowness, placing his hand on the ground. Asterisk, asterisk, earth style. Mud River Che. Asterisk, asterisk. He announced, his tone overly dramatic. Another weird name, Asuma scoffed internally. He didn't slow down, expecting another harmless trick. But just as his fist was about to connect, the ground beneath them began to rumble. Crack. Chunks of earth and stone erupted violently, forcing Asuma to leap back to avoid being buried. The sudden quake left the room in stunned silence. Was that earth style? Asuma muttered, wiping sweat from his forehead. Almost got me. Satoru grinned slyly. You don't think the name sounds better that way? He teased, his voice calm and playful. Asuma shook his head, muttering under his breath. This kid, he's insane. But Satoru's expression gradually shifted, his playful demeanor replaced by a quiet intensity. He straightened his back, meeting Asuma's gaze with a seriousness that hadn't been there before. All right then, Satoru said softly. I'll stop playing around. Asuma's breath caught in his throat. The shift was instant and overwhelming, an icy, suffocating pressure filled the room. The boy in front of him no longer felt like the mischievous child from moments ago. It was as though Satoru had become someone or something entirely different. Instinctively, Asuma took half a step back, his nerves on edge. What is this feeling? He couldn't explain it, but the sheer weight of Satoru's presence was unlike anything he had encountered before. From the sidelines, Orochimaru watched with growing satisfaction, a sly smile playing on his lips. So there it is, he thought. The real Satoru Uchiha. Satoru's supposed warmth and innocence, Orochimaru mused, were merely layers of deception. Beneath it lay something far more dangerous and far more intriguing. Come on, Satoru. Orochimaru whispered to himself. Show me what else you're hiding.
28.
Inside the examination area, tension mounted. Asuma Sarutobi's expression shifted from mild annoyance to cautious seriousness as he observed Satoru Uchiha. How does this kid have such an intense aura? Asuma wondered, his mind racing. Asterisk, is it another bluff? There's no way a 5-year-old could generate this much pressure. Asterisk. Despite his skepticism, Asuma couldn't deny the strange presence radiating from Satoru. It unsettled him. If this child got the better of him here, it would become a stain on his reputation, something his father, the third Hokage, would never let him live down. Worse, if the daimyo found out he had lost to a mere child, his ambitions to become one of the guardian shinobi 12 might crumble. Still, Asuma refused to let his guard down. Meanwhile, Satoru stood casually, a single shuriken in his hand. He wasn't about to reveal his full strength. His more powerful techniques would be too conspicuous and might raise questions he didn't want to answer. For now, he relied on speed and precision, skills derived from his unique training. The confidence in his stance, however, only served to further irritate Asuma. Stop fooling around. Asuma snapped, adjusting his position, his irritation giving way to growing focus. The boy's earlier antics had pushed him to take the match seriously. But before Asuma could utter another word, the air was suddenly filled with a sharp sound of metal slicing through the wind. Asterisk, asterisk, whoosh. 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 Asterisk, asterisk. Shurikens spun through the air with astonishing speed, their trajectory perfectly calculated. Asuma's instinct screamed at him, and he moved just in time to avoid the blades. Sweat dripped down his face as he realized how close they had come to grazing him. So fast, he thought, shaken. If he hadn't taken half a step back at the last moment, the shuriken would have cut through his legs and arms. But what startled him more than the speed of the attack was the boy's positioning. Somehow, Satoru was now behind him, calm and composed, as though he hadn't moved at all. How did he get there? Asuma's mind raced. I didn't even see him move. Years of experience on the battlefield had saved him from being completely overwhelmed, but the gap in awareness left him unnerved. Asuma forced a smirk to mask his unease. Asterisk, he's just a kid using shuriken. It's no big deal. All I need is some distance. Asterisk. He widened the gap between them, convinced that physical techniques alone wouldn't be enough to keep up. Satoru's earlier Earth style had been rudimentary, lacking the depth and control of a fully trained ninja. If the boy was relying on physical attacks, time would eventually run out. Glancing at the burning incense stick nearby, Asuma felt a wave of relief. Asterisk, not much time left. A little longer, and this kid can go back to school. The battlefield isn't a place for someone like him. Asterisk. What Asuma didn't know, however, was that chakra wasn't the only energy fueling Satoru. Hidden within the boy was a different power, one far removed from the traditional techniques of the ninja world. From the sidelines, Orochimaru watched with a satisfied grin. Asuma's going to lose, he said confidently. Kurenai turned to him in disbelief. Lose? To a 5-year-old? How is that even possible? Orochimaru chuckled. He underestimated his opponent and let arrogance cloud his judgment. If this were anyone other than a Konoha child in front of him, Asuma wouldn't have been so careless. But Kurenai trailed off, unable to comprehend what she was seeing. How is this kid doing it? That's what I want to know. Orochimaru murmured, his serpentine pupils narrowing. Asterisk, what is the secret behind Satoru Uchiha? There's no chakra fluctuation when he moves like that, so it's not ninjutsu. And it's not physical prowess alone. What is this hidden power he wields? Asterisk. Back in the field, Satoru let out an exasperated sigh, running a hand over his blindfold. This is getting tedious, he muttered to himself. Asuma tensed, his sharp senses warning him of another shift. In the blink of an eye, Satoru vanished from sight. Where is he? Asuma's eyes darted around the room, but there was no trace of the boy. Asterisk, asterisk, whoosh. Whoosh, asterisk, asterisk. The sharp, unmistakable sound of spinning shuriken filled the air again. Asuma barely had time to react, instinctively dodging to avoid the deadly blades. He spun around, searching for Satoru's position, but he was nowhere to be seen. How is he doing this? Asuma muttered under his breath, his confidence wavering for the first time. Orochimaru's grin widened as he observed the chaos. Asterisk, fascinating. Truly fascinating. This isn't just talent, it's something more. Something deeper. I must know the secret behind this boy. Asterisk. Kurenai, still struggling to process what she was seeing, glanced at Orochimaru. Sensei, are you sure he's only 5? Orochimaru chuckled darkly. Don't judge a genius by the limits of your own imagination. In the field, Satoru's voice echoed softly, though his exact location was impossible to pinpoint. Time's almost up, Asuma-sensei. Satoru said, his tone calm but laced with a hint of mockery. Are you sure you can keep up? 29. Asuma Sarutobi left the examination room with a face like thunder, moving as fast as the wind. He didn't spare a glance back, his pride bruised beyond repair. Hey, why'd he leave so quickly? Satoru muttered, holding a fragment of Asuma's tattered sleeve in his hand. He sighed dramatically, his expression one of exaggerated innocence. I didn't even get confirmation if I passed or not. The boys' over-the-top antics drew a few chuckles from the lingering spectators, though Satoru himself wasn't done putting on a show. So impatient, these grown-ups. He continued, shaking his head. But hey, not everyone can handle me. Satisfied with his performance, Satoru straightened his posture, giving one last look around the room before sauntering out. Orochimaru left the scene shortly after, taking Mitarashi Enko with him. His disciple couldn't hold back her thoughts, muttering as they walked. Asuma actually lost. Enko said in disbelief. I didn't think Satoru was that strong. Is this what genius looks like? Orochimaru ignored her commentary, his mind still replaying the events of the exam. His analytical nature wouldn't let him rest. Teleportation, but not the flying thunder god technique, he mused. That legendary jutsu required specific markings or chakra seals, but Satoru had used no such preparation. The boy's movements had been seamless, with no detectable chakra fluctuations. What kind of technique was that? The more he thought about it, the more questions arose. Orochimaru's curiosity burned brighter than ever. Back at the academy, the examination room was abuzz with chatter as students and teachers analyzed what they had just witnessed. Oh my god, did that really just happen? I didn't think Asuma-sensei could lose to a 5-year-old. Serves him right for setting such a ridiculous test. The difficulty level was practically Chunin. Chunin? If that was Chunin, then I'll be stuck as a genin forever. Yeah, Hokage-sama is definitely going to chew him out for this one. Laughter erupted, but the students quickly returned to discussing Satoru's incredible performance. Still, Satoru Uchiha, that was amazing. The precision of his shuriken throw was unreal. Right? It didn't even harm Asuma-sensei, just nicked his clothes perfectly every time. Not to mention how he managed to predict Asuma's movements. It was almost like he could read his mind. Yeah, and how did he get behind Asuma-sensei without anyone seeing him move? That was insane. The awe in their voices was clear. Satoru had left a lasting impression, not just for his skills, but for the air of mystery surrounding his abilities. At the Uchiha compound, Satoru returned home, only to be met by his father, Uchiha Fugaku, and his brothers, Itachi and Sasuke. Fugaku crossed his arms, his expression stern, though a hint of pride shone in his eyes. Ahem. While your methods were a bit unconventional, your strength is commendable. He coughed lightly to hide the slight smirk forming on his face. We'll leave it at that. He quickly turned and walked off, his brisk pace betraying his satisfaction. Sasuke, however, wasn't as impressed. Second brother, you're always causing trouble. Satoru rolled his eyes, a sly grin spreading across his face. It's not me that's wrong, Sasuke. It's the world. He struck a dramatic pose. The world needs to feel pain. Pain. Itachi interjected as he leaned against the doorway. And how do you plan to make the world feel pain, little brother? Satoru's expression shifted instantly, his dramatic demeanor melting into casual humor. By eating that limited edition, supersized spiral ramen set from Chichikeya, of course. Itachi chuckled softly, his amusement evident. I see your priorities haven't changed. Oh, Nisan, what about our training tomorrow? Sasuke asked, his mood shifting to disappointment when he remembered. I'm sorry, Sasuke. Itachi replied, a tinge of regret in his voice. I've taken a C-rank mission and won't be back for a few days. Sasuke's face fell further, But before he could complain, Satoru chimed in. Hey, Sasuke, why not train with me? Who needs Nissan when I can teach you? Forget it. Sasuke shot back, his tone sharp. I don't want to end up covered in tomato juice like last time. The memory of Satoru's wild training methods brought an involuntary shiver to Sasuke. The thought of another shuriken sticking debacle was too much to bear. Damn, completely underestimated. Satoru muttered under his breath, puffing his cheeks in mock indignation. After his brothers left, Satoru sat quietly in his room. The energy from the day's events lingered, but his focus shifted to something far more intriguing. Opening his system interface, Satoru browsed through the system mall. He had used this mysterious tool before to great success, acquiring 2 crucial scrolls, a large spatial teleportation array and a group illusion technique. Both had proven invaluable, allowing him to execute techniques that seemed impossible within the framework of traditional ninja skills. As he scrolled through the options, his mind raced with possibilities. The mall offered a variety of tools and techniques that could give him an edge, but he needed to be selective. Efficiency was key. After a few minutes of deliberation, Satoru made his choices, purchasing several new items. He closed the interface with a satisfied grin. Let's see how these work out, he said to himself, already planning how to incorporate his new acquisitions into his arsenal. The room fell silent once more, but the gears in Satoru's mind continued to turn. This was only the beginning.